Hi y'all, it's Regina again. Good to see you. Welcome back to my craft room. I have another mug rug for you. It's fall themed. It says "Bless Our Home" and it's in fall colors. So let me get started. So here it is on my screen. Bless Our Home. It has little things going out like that. Says it takes it about 30 minutes stitching time, and most of it is this right in here. So let's get started. This is done in the 5x7 hoop. I have 2 layers of tearaway stabilizer hooped, and it's the first stop, color stop, is to make a placement stitch. So I have in a very light colored peach color, and because that's what I'm going to do my decorative stitching in. And I have some scrap stabilizers down here for my second layer of stabilizer. This is the lightweight stabilizer. So you can, make good use of all your scraps. They're fairly large. They go across about halfway the hoop, so I've got 2 pieces for the second layer. Oops, don't want that to get caught in there. I'm just kind of keeping an eye, make sure it doesn't pop that second layer up. Alright, so it's done the placement stitch for your batting, and there she goes again. Alright, so I have more than enough, and I'm just kind of centering it. I don't want to have too much stabilizer. I'm just kind of centering it over the lines, and I'm going to do color stop number 2. Color stop number 2, sorry about that. Our little girl that we got, we were told she doesn't bark, but she's found her voice. Alright, so color stop number 2 is stitching the batting down. And I just kind of keep an eye on the batting. You don't want it to get crumpled up. Alright. So color stop number 3 is a placement stitch. Remember, pink is a placement when you're starting something like this. Blue is a tack down. So I'm just going to go ahead and do color stop number 3, which is the placement stitch for the center fabric. So this will stop and let you put your center fabric down, and the measurements for the center panel are fabric requirements: 6.5 inches wide by 5.5 inches high. So I'll have enough, well, barely. Okay, maybe I'm going to have to do it this way. Yep. Alright, so, and I'm not changing thread. It's a light colored thread, so it's not going to show through on anything. And color stop number 4 is going to tack this fabric down. Okay, it's barely on the line, but I'm not going to worry about it because we're going to be putting side panels on, and that'll help hold it down. Speaking of side panels, color number 5 is a placement stitch. You don't have to stitch it. kind of reinforces what you've already done, but it does go out here and come all the way down outside the line. And just as a reminder, this is color stop 5, where you need to place your side panel fabric. And it gives you something to kind of line up with, and extends out past the centerpiece. So I think I have enough for both sides. Yeah. All right, so let me cut this. I have this strip, and it's wide enough. The side panel pieces are 2 1/4 inches wide by 5 1/2 inches high is what you need. So I have a little more. So we're going to put the face down. Well, this is a batik, so it really doesn't matter, but you do want to put face down, and you want to line up this side of your edge. You're going to put the fabric in towards the center of the center panel and line your fabric up along this line that just stitched at color number 5. And this is going to be a tack down of the side panel, and that's color stop number 6. I'm going to put them... Penny, no! Sorry. Alright, so that tacks down. That tacks down the first side panel. And you want to take your fabric folding pin that has the liquid in it, and mine's been laying down. Whoop, that got enough. And if it doesn't have, if the wick's not wet or doesn't have any liquid coming out, just give it a very gentle squeeze, because it will put it out. And you want to go right along that edge, that line you just stitched. Put the cap back on so it doesn't dry out. Turn this over and take your nail, and it's just like you went to the ironing board. Alright, so the next stitch is going to do the other side. It's color stop number 7, and it'll do the same thing. Just a reminder in case you forget, is all that is. Okay, so you want to put it so the right edge is right on that line, or lined up with your piece of fabric that's just barely wide enough. Okay. And hang on to it gently. And color stop number 8 is going to stitch a 1/4 inch seam and tack that fabric down, that side panel. And it goes down, up, and back down. Alright, that was color stop number 8. And then you want to take that out. You don't want to do anything until you've creased this edge. You don't want it too wet, just wet enough to fold it, and then put it aside. You don't need it anymore. And then fold that down, take your nail and just crease it. Alright, so the next stitch is going to tack the sides down, the whole thing actually. It goes all the way around. And you just want to watch and make sure that it doesn't lift this up or this side when you get up to the top. Alright, color stop 9 is a tack down of the whole mug rug and the side pieces. Alright, so the next stitch is the decorative stitch, background stitch. And it's just, you want to put in whatever color you want. Sorry, I moved that camera. I was going to do this peach, but you know what? I think I'm going to do a gold. Let me change thread. Alright, so I put in a gold since I have gold here, and it is a fall theme, so once again, color stop number 10 is going to stitch the decorative background fill. And this shouldn't take as much time as some of the others. I hope you can see what it's doing. It's just got a little squiggly line that's going through it. So just so you know, if you don't want it real dark, then you need to get a lighter color gold. I chose just regular gold, so it's going to be pretty dark. And go through there and just give it some accent. So I'll be back whenever it's just about finished with the decorative fill. The decorative background stitch is finished, and we're ready to go to the next step, which will be color 11. And it'll be stitching a little oval in here, and on it it'll have text that says hour. So, that is gold, so I'm just going to leave that gold thread in there and stitch color stop number 11. So this will be filled in, and it'll have the text on top of the fill. Now, just so that y'all know, sometimes I'll provide oh, I can't think. I'm going to have to go shut that door. I don't know if she's barking at our Halloween decorations or what. I will provide a smaller design that's going to stitch in these mug rugs. So the design on the mug rug is larger than the 4x4 and smaller than the 5x7. I'll be back. Alright, the oval is stitched. I've changed to my black thread, and color number 12 is going to stitch the word hour. Not hour, but like time, but O-U-R. I've changed thread and getting ready to stitch color number 13, which is going to which is going to stitch bless. Now I'm using a maroon color. Let this stitch, and I'll be back so you can see what it looks like. Alright, it's just finishing up. That was color number 13. And it still has another little stitch to do. Alright, I'll mess with that little thread when I finish. Alright, so color number 14 is going to stitch out home. And I'm going to do that in an orange. Well, kind of an orange. Hope you can see that. Yeah. It is an orange. Alright, so I'm ready to go, and we're off. I'll be back when that's done. Alright, home has finished, and now I'm going to change to a dark brown. It's going to... Something's not right. Something's out of order. Alright, I said there was something wrong, but there was nothing wrong. I forgot that I added something. Oh, goodness. Hang on, let me... I was going to make changes when I got in there to make changes, and I went, oh, no, that's not... That's right. Let me go down. Let me get back to where I was. Okay, so I didn't need to make any changes. The phone rang and I don't remember where I was. I brought the design back up, and now I'm having to get back to where I was. Goodness, let's see here. Alright, so I've made it back to where I was before I had a brain fart. And it's going to stitch some little black things on this home just to kind of highlight it. You can put whatever color you want on there, or you can just leave it off if you don't want it. That's why she's going to be useful. Now it's just a little accent is all it is. For her psychic abilities, of course. I got a thread to cut there. Yep. Alright, it's just about finished. And if memory serves me, which evidently it doesn't, but if memory serves me right, the next thing to stitch are some little dots. And I'm going to use a burnt orange color for those little dots. Alright, I have my burnt orange in. I'm getting ready to stitch color stock number 16, and I didn't tell you these little highlights on the home are color stock number 15. Alright, so I'm getting ready to stitch the dots. Once again, it's color stock number 16. And there's 8 of them in total. Let's see over here. Who else over here? Look at this jump in here. Give me your hand. I'm gonna read your fortune. I'll be back when they're done. Alright, I changed my bobbin again. I still think somebody needs to invent a way to have it create its own bobbin thread from the upper thread somehow, so we don't have to keep changing all this bobbin thread all the time. It's a real inconvenience. Alright, that was color number 16, stitching these little dots. And I'm starting on color number 17, which is just going to stitch some accent lines at the top and at the bottom. Alright, all the elements of the mug rug are finished stitching. There it is. Now it's time to put the back on. So, when I rethread, because I just pulled it out. Okay. All right, so the back pieces for your mug rug need to be 9 by 5.5, I believe. Hang on. Oops. All right, so they need to be 9 inches wide by 5.5 inches high. You're going to fold them in half, starch them and fold them in half. And cut off your little threads that might be dangling off, like mine were. All right. Well, that one that just once, there we go. All right, so you're going to fold them in half, put a little crease, and you want the creased side to be on the inside, and you want it to overlap the center of your hoop. There's my center. Let me bring this over a little bit. Okay, so there's the center of my hoop right there. And I know there's the center here, so right by where the needle is, or the foot. So I want to take my first piece and I want to overlap it by about 1/2 inch. Just pick up your fabric that's already been stitched down and make sure. And this should be lining up with what you already cut, since this is 9 by 5.5, 5 3/4, thereabouts. Okay, and I'm going to have plenty left over because mine was a lot larger than 9 inches. So you take your second piece and you slide it under, and you want it to overlap. You want it to overlap the first piece. So here's the edge of my first piece. Let's see if I can get this over anymore. So here's the edge of my first piece that overlaps my center. There's my center. So it's overlapping by 5.5, 5/8, something like that. And I want this piece to overlap that piece. And you can just line them up on the edges right here. Now, you do want to tape these down. No matter which way this was to go, it could catch and lift this up. And you don't want that, trust me. So you can use whatever you have. I would not suggest Scotch tape, but you could use blue tape. I just use this medical tape, a paper medical tape. It's the same thing that Kimberbell puts out. They try to make it like it's some kind of special whatever. It's just medical tape. All these other places call it quilting tape. It's just medical tape. Okay, so I'm just putting that down. It comes off real easy. And I'm going to put one in the center just because. All right, so color number 18 is going to stitch this down. And I do not want to use brown. All right, this is a test because I put in a spool of tan fabric that's just about out, and I've been trying to find some way to use it up. All right, so color number 18 does this tack down around the whole mug rug. And this is just a running stitch. Alright, so it's going to do one more stitch, and I'm going to remove this paper tape now, so I don't have to fight with it later.
Life's taught me not to trust anybody. That's smart. Hector and I aren't just anyone.
I promise you this will find the fleur-de-lis killer.
And don't forget about the little bit that's above the line.
guys up there?
No. My brother will come pick her up later.
Marina, I don't know what's going on, but I'm still the same man.
Which means nothing to me. Nothing.
All right.
It's not
That's
personal.
removed. Let's remove this one too.
Since we last slept.
And it's going to do a triple stitch around again, just to hold it tight, because you're going to be, and it's in just a little ways from that line, and it's just a security, I guess, so that when you're turning it in and out, turning it out and trimming, this has a secure stitch on the inside, which is actually the outside of the mug rug. Now, if you want, when you turn this out, after you turn it out, you can put some steam-a-seam, a little strip of steam-a-seam or something, and iron that shut if you want. I haven't been doing it. I don't know why. But let's get to the to my cutting table and trim this up. All right, we're back at the cutting table. Hang on. All right. Take it out of the hoop and take your tearaway off. Pull it towards the inside.
Yes, you were always observant and you know everything going on, but now.
I guess it's just
Now I had actually sewn 2 pieces of larger tearaway to make 1 piece, so I've got a little stitch there that I have to trim off right at each end. Okay, so get all this off. I have 2 pieces, so this is the 2 pieces that I put on the inside that were already just smaller pieces, so I'd have a little extra. Oops, sorry. All right, sorry about that. Let me adjust this. All right, so we've got all the tearaway stabilizer off, and I'm gonna put a light colored fabric on the back, and even though it's doubled, I'm just gonna snip off some of these tails real quick before I turn it out, so I don't have to turn it inside out and then back again.
One of ours being a killer. I had nothing to do with the crimes of La Casa del Agua. Everyone knows you were a regular client. Get
these snips
and you were the first to arrive.
sharpened. I already sent Brent a text from Famore, and he will be at the quilt show. Last year when we talked to him, he wasn't sure he was going to come back, and that would be devastating because that's who's been sharpening my scissors for 20-something years. I don't know what I'd do. Take them every year, and if you buy his scissors, he will sharpen them free of charge for the life of the scissors. Alright, I think I got all I need to get. Alright, so now, sorry for reaching across you, want to go from this side and trim. Actually, I'm just going to use my rotary cutter. And I'm going to put my 3/8 mark on my ruler along the side of, you can see where the stitching is, and you put your 3/8 ruler right there on the edge of that stitching line and trim. And if you haven't tried this Quilter Select cutter, rotary cutter, oh my gosh, it's incredible. It's weighted, so you don't have to press as hard to cut. All right, so we're going to turn this around and put the 3/8 mark and kind of make sure it's lined up here somewhere on the, use the other part of the mug rug to make sure you're cutting straight. And cut another scrap. Okay. why I'm using a 3/8 here in a second. If you haven't watched any of my other videos on the mug rugs,
May I come in?
Did you dress yourself?
all right,
Can't stop thinking about
so
Estonia. What if he's
I take my little scissors, which I got from Famore,
Criminal. Stop obsessing over it.
and I just
Think about it.
cut a little
He's the perfect
curve
scapegoat.
at the corners and go right into the straight line.
And his sexual
So let's
preferences
do
would make
this
you
one.
think that.
Just going around,
He is the killer.
But no, he isn't.
go into the straight line. You can just kind of trim all the way up just to get it
Throws
done.
a house party and invites me to be Margot. But I'm still alive. I'm still alive because he had planned to kill me in the
Cut
woods,
up
but the
just
mask
a
came off and he
tiny,
saw I wasn't
tiny
hurt.
little bit.
If Castagna was the killer,
Cut that
he would have put my
curve.
mask back on and would have continued to play out his erotic fantasy of Margot.
It's not a bad theory, I suppose.
It's a great theory.
All right, so now you're going to take
Enlighten us and help us see the big picture here.
the overlap,
We should go
open
talk
it
to
up,
her.
and press
And then
one of the
interrogate
corners.
Castagna.
This way.
May I come in?
Press one of the corners out, get the other corner, press it down, stick your finger
Any old thing for breakfast when you
in
can have something
and push
special
with your
instead.
fingernail
Did you sleep well?
to begin with.
Margot, this is all quite difficult, I imagine. But in order to find the killer, there are some things we need you to tell us. But he was arrested yesterday. Yes, Castagna's the suspect, that's true. But I'm convinced that the real murderer is still out there. And I need to know some details. Were you threatened? Were there any pending matters
And
that
just
have
push
to
those corners out.
Yes,
Got a
we don't
piece
need
of
to
extra
pry.
fabric
In order
sticking
to
in
help you,
there.
We need to know about your life.
Well, that's just weird. That's never happened. All right, let's see
Never had a
here.
personal
Careful,
relationship with any
Regina.
clients.
All right.
Nor with any of the other girls. Well,
Then do the same thing with the other.
Amelia was
The other
one who
flat.
represented Alba.
I'm going to get
She got us off the streets and raised us as grown children.
And she turned us into unique lovers.
the corner and push it up.
Steal our persona. The seductress. The paramour. The deceiver.
Could you tell us
Stick
some
your
more
finger in
details
there and poke
about
out the
girls?
corner.
Carmen was the oldest one.
Hope I don't have another piece of stray
Was a
fabric up there.
contortionist. She drove the men crazy. Angela.
Come on,
That was
get up
lovely.
there. There we go.
Just wild and bad. Manoli was
Okay.
domineering, and Julia was.
And yes, I have a point turner,
She really knew
but
how to run her
I
business.
find this works just as well.
A businesswoman for sure.
All right, so just kind
Money
of,
came before everything else.
sometimes you do have to use it to get
You know that.
those
The
corners
girls and Amelia.
poked out. But initially, I just like to use my finger.
Where's my brother?
All right, hang on.
What happened?
All right, so what I do is I kind of push this in, the back fabric, push it in over that seam line. That doesn't work. I'm trying to get this so you can see. And I steam press it inwards towards the mug rug.
What would life be without a bit of
Steam press the sides inward. Steam press that inward. And that's just to kind of roll those edges back over that seam. You could cut that seam a little smaller if you want. Just give it a good steaming.
Realize that you've made a huge mistake,
That's right.
and you're here to help me.
I'm here to hear the truth. Come on,
And
Castagna.
there we are. It's done.
I'll have to leave until
I want a cigarette.
So that's it.
Yes.
That's your fall mug rug. Appreciate you staying through this and watching. Would love to see what you do with it.
your cigarettes.
Appreciate you coming. Appreciate your support. Don't forget, thumbs up. Thanks so much.